Pinellas County Tourist Development Council for December 21st, 2022. We'll start with roll call. Mr. Prather, kick us off.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Chuck Prather, the Birchwood, St. Petersburg.
Good morning, Doreen Moore, Travel Resort Services, TRS, vacation rentals throughout our lovely beach area.
Happy holidays. Frank Hibbard, Mayor of the City of Clearwater.
Russ Kimball, Sheraton Sankey, Clearwater Beach.
Good morning, everyone. Steve Hayes with Visit St. Pete Clearwater.
Charlie Justice, Pinellas County Commission.
Good morning, Michael Zoss, County Attorney's Office.
Good morning, Ken Welch, Mayor of St. Petersburg.
Good morning, Merry Christmas. Tricia Rodriguez, the Tropics Boat Tours and the Clearwater Ferry.
Good morning, Mike Williams, Managing Director, Innisbrook Golf Resort.
Very good. Good morning, everyone. We've got a brief action item agenda and then some good information reports for today, so we'll get right to it while we have quorum. Item number 3, approval of TDC minutes. Are there adjustments or is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Hibbert, second by Mr. Kimball. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show it passes unanimously. Public comments. Any public comments? We have none. All right, we're rolling right along. Department updates. Mr. Hayes, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members, council. This morning I have 3 different updates. Since we did not meet last month, we've had some exciting things that are happening going forward, so I thought it'd be a nice way to recap what we're doing, but also give you a little bit of a look ahead in the coming months, especially since due to Arctic storm hitting in the Midwest to the Northeast, we anticipate a lot of folks looking at coming south where it's warm and sunny. So to kick everything off this morning, I have Katie Bridges, who's our Senior Advertising Manager, come up and talk about some cool things that we have going on that we are certainly excited about.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to share, as Steve mentioned, just a reminder of what we have going on this winter with our media. Just a refresher on the geographic markets that we've been in this fall and then we'll continue in this winter. So what we call our developmental markets are out-of-state markets where we're maybe less familiarity with us and we're doing a integrated marketing approach with the different mediums. So that's Chicago, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and Detroit. Minneapolis and Detroit are 2 new markets for us. We've been in there in the past with digital, but this year we're adding in some of those broadcast, out-of-home, print, and promotions elements. Just with the research that we've seen, that both Minneapolis and Detroit are 2 good markets for us to be in. And then we have our maintenance markets where there's a little bit more familiarity with us. Of course, we have Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and then Nashville and Cincinnati. So we've been in Nashville and Cincinnati for the last year. So we're still continuing to be in there to continue to be top of mind. But we pulled back a little bit. You'll see that we do not have cable TV in those markets, as well as not as much print. And then we have top tier, which is New York City, where it is a very expensive market, but we are still in there with some prints and some very exciting promotions, activations that our team is working on right now for winter. So I wanted to share with you our new TV spot. So we just, last summer, we created our Let's Shine campaign, and we rolled that out with a TV spot. We just finished a second TV spot, and we've added some messaging specifically for winter. We'll play that now. Oops. Wrong way. Is it possible to play this video? well, I can send it out afterwards, but we have a new spot. It's all of the new footage that we shot this past summer, and it's the messaging is very specific to Head South this winter. We also have two radio spots that will be running in both our developmental and our maintenance markets. One that's heavily on beach, and then one that's inviting them to explore more of what the destination has to offer. And yeah, I don't have a cursor to hit. Yeah. Is it okay?
Who has control of the presentation?
I think in the back.
Pete, are you able to control the videos or the audio attachments on the PowerPoint? Okay.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'd sent the PowerPoint. Okay, so then we have our digital billboard network. So we, in both our developmental and maintenance markets, we have digital billboards. And so here's some of the new creative that we have with our message, Let's Shine. Let's take a closer look. Let's get on board. Let's soak up the sun. Let's take it outside. We also have our digital EV charging stations in our developmental markets. These are 8-second spots that run on rotation. This aligns with our approach with our cable, radio, digital billboards, and also our gas station TV. And then running gas station TV as well in our developmental markets. Lastly, we have our movie theater program. So 30-second spots inserted in the last break prior to the start of movie previews. This is running in a 4-week period over the holiday break in our northern developmental markets. We're really excited about this, especially with the launch of Avatar, which had a record box office this past weekend, and there's a lot of other releases. So our media vendor has informed us of the different, how our spots are really performing really well as regards to impression data. Here is a spot that we have specifically built for our gas station TV and our movie theater stations. It's our 15-second creative spot, and then we have an engagement piece, which it's like an exciting Jeopardy, so I will send it out after our meeting. Just picked up the PDF. Here's some of our print ads. Let's Feast al Fresco. We have these running in our city magazines paper, so Indianapolis Monthly, Detroit Hour media publication, as well as Afar, Garden and Gun. Those are some of the print publications that we are in. Here's one of our arts ads. Let's explore al fresco art galleries. Let's make it look like we've done this before. Let's find our place in the sun. Let's get away together. So here's some of the new creative, and these are just some of the variations and varieties that we have that'll be running in market this winter. And then I wanted to share an exciting thing. A couple weeks ago, The Match was in town. They were at the Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida. Our team has a relationship with the people that put on the LPGA golf tournament, and they were working on this. So they reached out to us to see if we were interested, and we jumped at the opportunity. We understand the power that Tiger Woods has, and this is a made-for-TV event. There was some attendance at the event, but it was really, it's all about the television viewership. We liked the date. There was a break there. It was a Saturday night. College football had just ended, and so we were excited about this weekend and the opportunity to promote St. Pete Clearwater as the home of the match.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So this was Saturday, December 10th. It was the 7th iteration of the match. The match started about like 2018. In 2020, they had a really big match when there was like hardly any sporting events on, and that's really what really catapulted the match into really widespread recognition. But this year, it drew 1.38 million viewers across TNT, TBS, True TV, and HLN, with Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas pairing up together. As part of our event partnership, we ran our Let's Shine commercial during the highly viewed national event broadcast. We had 3 commercials in the broadcast. And additionally, we collaborated with golfer Carolina Romero. She is one of Golf Digest's 50 best golf fitness trainers in America. And we hosted her as part of our Live Like a Local influencer content series. So we invited Carolina to come stay with us, play some golf courses in the destination, and share it with her followers to promote our destination for winter travel, for playing golf, for attending the Valspar Championship. And she also went to the match on Saturday night and really helped promote that the match was here in St. Pete Clearwater, and we put on a great event for them. And here's a great spot. It leads in from the broadcast, the announcers talking about, Tiger, he's driving off the course, and then, this broadcast is brought to you by DraftKings and Visit St. Pete Clearwater. There's a DraftKings spot, and then there's a Visit St. Pete Clearwater 30-second spot with a little tag on the bottom that has our logo and home to America's Best Beaches and Capital One's The Match. And here's just a follow-up on Carolina. She's a fitness lover, former NCAA Division I golfer, and like I said, recently named by Golf Digest as one of the 50 best golf fitness trainers. Her Instagram following, 120,000 followers and 12,200 subscribers on YouTube. So she posted some things on her channel, some Instagram reels and posts that are still continuing to come. She created a YouTube video about her experience in the destination and the different courses that she played, and that will get posted and shared on her channels, and our team is also leveraging those assets to help promote our destination. And lastly, I just wanted to finish on our Golf to Bay magazine. We are working on with the Tampa Bay Times on our 11th issue of the Golf to Bay Destination magazine. I just wanted to highlight, we have a survey card in the 2022 magazine that's out right now. And when I pulled this report, we had 1,500 recipients respond to the survey, and there was a 98% reader satisfaction rating. And 80% of the readers felt the magazine was important, very important to their travel planning process. So we feel really excited and energized by that as we move forward with working on the next edition of the magazine, which we're planning, working on content and story ideas right now. But the ad sales for partners just launched a couple weeks ago. We work with the Tampa Bay Times to sell that and build those ad units. The magazine will have 505,000 total distribution. The majority of that is in newspaper inserts. We are focusing on our developmental markets, including as well as some key markets through the New York Times insertions, including in New York City, which will be a first for us. We've not done New York City specific drops, but we feel excited about that. So those will be dropping next summer with the in-market date of May. And we're new this year for our partners. We do have a new style of advertising, which is native advertising, so that an ad could look more seamless with the editorial of the magazine to help tell the story. So we're excited about those opportunities that we have for our partners. And I know Eddie is going to share with you next some of the other co-op opportunities that we have for partners. But if there's any questions on what I presented this morning, I did also want to introduce, so we have here in the room Carmen Boyce, Stephanie McKinnon, and Anna. Anna's based in Spain, but she's from Dunedin, so she is home for the holidays, and so we're excited that she was able to make a TDC meeting with us this morning and enjoy home. So just wanted to recognize them in the room. So thank you. If there's any questions, I'll turn it over.
Questions for Mr. Yes, sir.
Katie, great presentation. A question, the charging stations, approximately how many charging stations do we have that spot playing?
I'll have to get an actual count. So we're in 4 markets. Minneapolis, we don't have the charging stations. They didn't have enough quantity. I'll have to get you the full amount of how many we have of those.
A lot of them.
Yes. And it's, I mean, if you've read any more about the EV charging stations, they continue to grow and expand, and cities are adding them. And they sent over some photos of the stations, and they're at outside of the Walgreens, and so in some of the markets that we're in, they are very prominent, more than we see here at home yet.
And the same with the gas stations?
Yeah, I can get you that number of how many gas station. It's a network called Gas Station TV. We do have a lot of that here, depending on what gas stations you go to, where they have spots. But I can get you the list of how many stations that we're in.
Thank you.
Ms. Moore?
Yes, a couple questions on, good morning, Katie, about the Gulf to Bay magazine. I noticed in the statistics provided in the visitor profile study, it related to travel planning resources used by prior to arrival and then also with the visitor. And there was a statistic on page 37 that pointed out that there was like zeros across the bottom about use and accessibility to the Gulf to Bay magazine. That was the destination analyst, unless I misread that. But, getting a survey from the people who have it and who are responding on the survey card obviously gives us a good picture that somebody's reading it, somebody's using it, they like it. And we know that all these years, it has been kind of a coffee table piece that, people hang on to for a while. It's not just something they look at on Sunday and pitch. So I just wondered if there could be some checking that out, if I'm misconstruing that. It was on page 37 of that 70-some odd page. I know that's expanded, so we'll get to that later in the presentation, but.
Yes, and I can check with destination analysts if, I know, the sample is very different, so to see if they have any feedback on that. And that's something that we do. I have looked at that in the past, yes, and that's one reason that we wanted to do the survey that was more specific to the readers.
Further questions? Mayor?
Thank you. Great job, as always. I wanted to know if we could get a link to the spots. I don't know if it's too large to send us the PowerPoint.
Yes, I will send you the links for sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Bridges.
Awesome, thank you.
Steve?
Real quickly, Mr. Chair, Katie, is there anything that you can share on what we're looking at doing up at the end of January in New York?
Sure. So we are working, the New York Travel and Adventure Show will be in New York City the last weekend of January. And we are a sponsor of that, and we have a 20-foot space. So we will be activating there, and we are working on bringing a hot tub element to our trade show booth and inviting people to warm up with St. Pete Clearwater this winter. So we are excited about our plans for that. We are working with our activations team to create a prize and a spin wheel for people to win prizes, and then also doing a sweepstakes trip giveaway. We'll be promoting that on our digital EV charging stations and our gas station TV in the new year. And then we are working with our team on a separate element that we're hoping to share for potential PR and pickup. So, yeah. I don't want to give too much away, but.
I know, but I think it's exciting that we're going to be up there at the end of January. It is, I think, unique. There will be some takeovers that we're doing, and we look forward to sharing more of that as we get closer, even afterwards. But what I liked about it is that it was a very collaborative effort, because not only do you have a sales element to it being at a trade show or a travel show at that point, but then also the PR side of it and working and getting some visibility. And what's really nice about the show is our PR agency up in New York also is the PR agency for the show. So, at that point, we have some synergies that are happening. And then the other element is hoping to get either organically or non-organically get on the morning shows up in New York during that time period. So let's continue to hope for really cool weather up there so it makes our activation even better.
Further questions? Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Eddie's going to come up from the digital side. He did a presentation here recently on some opportunities on that we've had with digital, and had some great response from folks. So I'll turn it over to Eddie and take it away.
All right. Good morning and happy holidays. So just a recap of our co-op marketing that we am getting close to the conclusion of. Kind of just a program overview of what the co-op program included. And every year when we kind of prepare this, it's a little bit of a science. Obviously, we don't want to create too many opportunities that there's a lot left over. At the same time, you don't want to create too few opportunities that we have to pick and choose too many partners to get into a single opportunity. So we have a pretty good range. We have website ads on our website that we offer. There's some different email opportunities that we have. We have social media opportunities in the form of Facebook co-op advertising. There's programmatic and KPI-focused display opportunities. We had 3 of them this year. We also offer a co-op opportunity in the Visit Florida publication. And then we also have some meeting-specific opportunities, both digital and print. So this year, kind of a quick by the numbers, we had 58 total opportunities for partners. Some of those opportunities, multiple partners could be a part of. So we had 83 total spots available to advertise. 14 partners submitted. That's pretty typical for what we see year over year. And then we have a potential partner investment of about $140,000. It's potential because we haven't finalized the invoices yet, but those are coming out this week. So just kind of a quick timeline of the co-op process from the perspective of partner outreach. We inform partners of the media kit that will be live on visitstpeteclearwater.com/co-op November 21st. November 21st, we put it up on that landing page. Then we send out 3 partner emails specific to the co-op to remind people to sign up and register for our co-op webinar. We had a co-op webinar the day before registration opened, and then we had a 2-day registration. In the past, it's only been 1 day, but we wanted to create a little bit more time and opportunity for partners to get in there. Then the day that it opens up, we have a final communication to let people know that they can go into the partner portal. And then the following week, if there's any assignments that we have to make in terms of too many partners signing up for one opportunity, we make those, and then this week we are finalizing the invoices and sending them out to partners. There's a little bit of a delay there, just because of some kind of fine detail on the invoices that we wanted to make sure we had cleared up. Unfortunately, that required a developer from our CRM, so it's just taking a little bit of time. Just kind of a breakdown of the website details and showing you guys, kind of where we are in terms of what's remaining. And what sold. So every year we have actually a continuous program of website advertising that is a impression package website advertising ranging from 25,000 impressions to 350,000 impressions. We had about 6 partners sign up for this opportunity or indicate that they were interested. And then on social media we had a matching campaign of up to $1,000. We would match that. It's run through our account, so it is, it does help promote the destination through that way. And we had 11 partners sign up. So every partner that signed up here, I mentioned without overflow in this several times, just to let you guys know that we had all the partners sign up for it, but we didn't have to turn away any partners from these opportunities. From our email, we have 3 email opportunities that we offer each year. We have a share a voice email, which is once a month. It's a partner takeover to our email database. Then we have 2, a featured and a consumer on our consumer email database. And this is, it's also sent out once a month. We still have opportunities available that we'll continue to offer to partners, but we did sell out 10 out of the 12 share of voice emails, so these did perform pretty well. From a display perspective, we had 3 opportunities for partners. There was a banner ad opportunity on Expedia with over 160,000 impressions. This sold out without any overflow, so all the partners that indicated they wanted to be a part of this program will be. And then for TripAdvisor, a very similar program, but on TripAdvisor in a native ad format, where the other one was a traditional banner ad. We still have 2 spots remaining unsold. From Visit Florida, this is a ad package with Visit Florida. So not only do they get the match from our perspective, but they also get a 66% match with Visit Florida. So this is was a great opportunity, offering over 1 million impressions to partners. And the targeting was basically retargeting Visit Florida's audience and lookalike followers. So this, again, sold out without turning away any partners. And then we have our meetings opportunities. So we had 3 of those as well. We had an opportunity with North Star, with Meetings Today, and with SAE. All 3 of the digital opportunities for this sold out, and there was an elevated level of interest, which is really great feedback for us to know. Last year we had a variety of meetings opportunities which went unsold, so we kind of did cut back this a little bit more, so trying to find the right balance here. We still do have 2 opportunities with Meetings Today for full-page print ads that remain available. And then with the Visit Florida Vacation Guide, this is basically a 2-page spread, and we have 6 partners that can be a part of our Visit Florida ad. And this, again, sold out without any overflow. So really pretty successful co-op campaign this year. We look forward to working with Creative Pinellas and finalizing the arts-specific co-op program. We did have a couple of arts partners also sign up for this program, so that was great to see. And then sort of for next steps, we'll send out the invoices. We will consult with the team to make sure that the opportunities that went unsold can remain available for a certain period of time for partners to still sign up, and then obviously work towards that arts co-op program. Any questions?
Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, a question I have is, it sounded like from our staff that it was a better presentation this year, better opportunities and everything, and we participated, and you said there was 14 participants. What was the number last year?
I'll have to check with Katie as well, but it was about that number of participants last year. It's usually around that 15 or so participants. Sometimes there's a little more with some partners trying it out for the first time. But usually there's this consistent core group of about 12 or so partners that continue to come back each year. So it was quite interesting actually to see in the first hour that we had registrations open up, we had about 10 or 12 submissions right away, and then we had a few more kind of trickle in over the next 48 hours. So, we did, last year, we after sort of launching the new website last year, we were sort of in the middle of this process, and we knew that we kind of had to do something one way last year and try to make it work with this year in mind, having a more consistent process and a better process. So moving forward, there'll be a few tweaks, but this process will be pretty much the way it is moving forward. So there's should be easy for partners and easy for staff.
It's been improving. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Unsold ads. Are there properties that you would like to have into the program that have not bought a spot? And can we reach out to those and say, listen, take another look at this. We think it would be beneficial, and we really need your support.
Yeah. So for the unsold ads that we really, so a number of those opportunities are basically our owned opportunities to tap into our audience. So our website and our email, those kind of can still be sold throughout the year. Really, the only 2 unsold spots was with TripAdvisor. There was a couple of spots, and then Meetings Today, there was a couple of spots. So probably the next steps, assuming that we can keep those open, because there's a certain period of time that we have to get back, to Meetings Today and to TripAdvisor to let them know. But if hopefully there'll be an opportunity following up and saying, we have these spots available. Please, if you haven't been a part of the co-op program, please explore these a little more. Think about them. I don't know that there's specific partners. I try to be completely egalitarian and just, let everyone have the opportunity to sign up for it. So that's a little tough. But I don't know if, Steve, there's any partners that you think would be more involved that we haven't seen. But with the arts co-op kind of coming out, I think the next point of emphasis is to try to get those arts partners involved in our programming.
Eddie, great presentation. And Mr. Williams, on that, once we get the final list of everything, is then go back and look at it and say, all right, who's missing? Or all the folks that need to be in there. So, and we do that not only with this, but when you go to advertise in the Golf to Bay magazine and some of the other things. Because ultimately there may be someone that's just absent, and you're like,
Yeah.
So.
There was a couple of partners that were kind of the last ones that came in actually after the deadline, but we still wanted to include them. So, those might be the first ones since, we favored the people who signed up first. Those might be the ones we come back to with kind of that opportunity.
Further questions?
Thanks, great presentation. I was just curious, just tapping onto that question. Are your goals, geographically diverse as far as when you look at open spots and targeting, potential representation as far as advertising for the area? Does the geographics play into it? Is there gaps in southern Pinellas compared to northern Pinellas County or anything like that?
There's really not gaps. I would say that, the properties out on the hotels or properties out on the beaches are oftentimes are the regular ones taking advantage of these opportunities. So, we might have to look at this too and come back next year and say, okay, is the reason why we're missing things an opportunity that we haven't created for these partners? So it's perhaps these opportunities might not be, the ones that a hotel in a downtown area are as interested in for whatever reason. So we need to make sure that, we're just inclusive with our opportunities. And that's kind of what the program is trying to create, things that will help us promote the destination, but also help partners, with their goals and aligning on those things. So just making sure that we're inclusive on the variety of opportunities while not having too many, opportunities and overbooking ourselves.
No, thank you. That answered the question, because I know Steve's out there, hitting up everybody, keeping them aware of what's happening with Visit St. Pete. I just didn't know if you needed any, additional, communication, and letting them know, because sometimes, there's gaps, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mayor Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a curious question. What role, does Twitter play a role in our digital strategy? And if so, how are you navigating
We don't have we don't pay, we don't have any paid advertising on Twitter. We utilize Twitter as one of the social channels that we, promote, publish our content onto, but that's really the extent of Twitter use. In certain situations, Twitter as an information platform is very valuable in situations like, a hurricane or other situations. So we try to, especially when we have important information to share, really get it out on every platform we can.
use it for getting information out, but not for advertising?
No, not for advertising.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Moore.
Comment on noticing again the reports that the broken down by traveler segment is very interesting, and to have that additional information tying into what you were commenting about, the co-op program with Creative Pinellas on arts and culture. So in that traveler segment, the arts and culture visitor profiles that are broken out obviously are of interest to Creative Pinellas and our involvement. So appreciate having that additional info.
Thank you very much. Further questions, comments? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you, Eddie. Next up, I'm going to have Rosemary Payne come up, who's our Director of Leisure Travel. Talk about someone that's been busy in the last 2 months. I don't think they've stopped once during the last 2 months. In fact, I think they're finally coming up for air. But we've had so many customers on site. I thought it would be good just to give an update to you to hear the variety that we've had and some of the things that they're doing, because again, a lot of that's been focused internationally, and we know that market's coming back. So Rose, if you would give us an update.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be on the agenda today. This morning, I'm going to give you a brief update on year-end leisure travel, Europe and UK sales initiatives. Like Steve said, it's been a very, very busy couple of months. Over the last few months, we've seen a recovery of international sales opportunities, including inbound educational fan visits, trade shows, sales missions, and additional interactions with travel media, Brand USA, and VIPs from top-selling international markets. These engagements are key to the full recovery of international leisure visitors to St. Pete Clearwater. So Steve and I spoke last night, and since the Leisure Travel Department has been engaged in so many important programs towards the end of 2022, I've requested an opportunity to present to you at the January TDC meeting a comprehensive update on all these initiatives. We have so many significant details that we really feel like we need to share with the board, so I look forward to having a much bigger presentation in January. Today, I will touch on a few highlights from the past few months. In November and December, the Leisure Travel Department hosted over 140 travel advisors, industry media, VIP guests on educational site visits to promote the new Virgin Atlantic service from the UK, London Heathrow, into the Tampa International Airport. We also partnered with Visit Tampa on a Munich sales mission to promote travel to our award-winning beaches, arts and culture, attractions, and more. Other international markets we've hosted included Germany this last couple of months, and the Latin America department has also been hosting key travel advisors from some of their top-selling markets as well. Our PR department has also been hosting international media to support leisure travel to St. Pete Clearwater from key international markets. These opportunities are a significant sign of the return of international travel to our destination. Seeing new sites since the pandemic, and Destination Partner Hospitality has re-energized these partners to go back to their markets with the tools that they need to sell St. Pete Clearwater with more enthusiasm than ever. We'll share more with you in January, along with details on the Virgin Atlantic inaugural and mega FAMs that were in town. Virgin Holidays had a FAM here. Ocean Florida and U.S. Air Tours were also two UK tour operators that had plans to be in Florida and ended up coming over to St. Pete Clearwater because of the new service, and they wanted to get reacquainted with the destination. We'll also highlight our first Canadian sales mission with Visit Florida since COVID restrictions. We were back at World Travel Market in London, Travel Week in Europe. We also had the Frankfurt sales mission I mentioned, and upcoming sales opportunities at Florida Huddle, which will be in West Palm Beach early February, and U.S. Travel's IPW that will be in San Antonio this coming May. I want to say a special thank you to Steve for his support of Visit St. Pete Clearwater's leisure, international and domestic global sales initiatives. We sincerely appreciate his leadership and support. And to Commissioner Charlie Justice, thank you for your support of leisure travel and our sales plan to bring more domestic and international visitors to the destination. We appreciate your being an active contributor to our success and for being the chair of this year's TDC. Wishing all of you happy holidays. That is my brief report.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate those kind comments. Questions or comments? Mr. Prather.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With international business coming back, are we supporting it with either digital marketing or print? I mean, how are we reaching out now that they're interested?
We're doing a lot of programming through Brand USA, and that allows us to have a bigger reach in those markets. We're working with tour operator partners like Hotel Beds. We're getting ready to launch a campaign with them in February that will touch the Canadian market, it'll touch the German market, it'll touch the UK market. So there are those marketing initiatives in place, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I met the representative at the Virgin Atlantic reception, and she had spent a day here, I think a day and a half, maybe wandering around. Is that relationship going well, and are we expanding, or what are we doing new there? And will they be coming and visiting industry in February after Huddle?
We're hoping to get some of the Virgin Holidays folks that will be at Florida Huddle over to our destination. Luckily, James Killick and the product managers at Virgin Holidays know our destination very well and are really excited to continue to expand their hotel offerings in their programming for 2023 and beyond. We're working with them on some challenges that the international market continues to have in our destination as far as availability of inventory and rates in the destination. But so far, we've had just a wonderful rollout with the Virgin Atlantic. We had the Mega Fam that was here, and those were top-selling travel agents that sell Virgin Atlantic Airways, not just Virgin Holidays. So it was wonderful to have all of those agents in the destination. And then on the flip side of Virgin, then we had Der Tour, which is our largest German tour operator in town. And again, to see the German market coming back with such enthusiasm. They brought 100 travel agents to Florida, and they split them into different cities. And we had 20 that were here in St. Pete Clearwater, and then they went back to Orlando for their Campus Live event where they were able to present all of their, all the different details of their stay here in St. Pete Clearwater, so.
What I was asking also is our representation of Rooster.
Yes.
And what we're doing differently or more, we're finding after the pandemic, and have they been here enough in our county to understand, and will they be coming after Huddle?
Yes, I don't know that they're going to come at Huddle, but I know that they're going to be in Florida at some point in January, February, March. We've had Jane come over. Jane is our primary person with Rooster on our account, and she came over on the inaugural Virgin Atlantic flight, so she was here to see everything that was happening in destination. We've also had other members of her team on FAMs coming into the destination, so again, making sure that they're up to date with everything that's going on in the destination. They're looking forward to getting out and starting back doing trainings at the call centers. So again, I feel like we've got a really good team with Rooster that are handling both the media and now the sales side of things.
She was here only like a day and a half. She came in and went back out on Friday. So I'm asking whether there's enough time being spent here to understand, especially with the new products that are coming online and everything in different areas of the county and all, and it's whether there should be more done and what is being done in Europe differently after the pandemic, because we went a different way of doing it. Has that worked, and what are we expanding there? That's kind of the question.
Right, and I know that Jane was here also after Florida Huddle last year. She was able to spend some time in the destination because Florida Huddle was in Tampa last year. So again, she was able to be in the destination a little bit more. She also was here for IPW, which was also over in Orlando. So again, but I will definitely reach out to her to see if maybe we could get a report when I present in January that would maybe give a 30,000-foot view of what they're doing differently in the market since the pandemic to really make sure that St. Pete Clearwater is being, to make sure St. Pete Clearwater is being promoted in a way that everyone is, can review.
And I think the reason for that is, as we hear on the news and everything, the economies and challenges of different areas of Europe and everything are different. And so we got to find those small pockets today that will be still coming, that maybe will be, other groups will be delaying. That was the traditional market. That's the part that I have concerns for.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that I make that part of the presentation in January.
Mayor Hibbard, did you have something? All right. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
If I might, Mr. Kimball, in addition to Jane being over here, there's a couple of members of her staff that have also been over here as part of trips related either to press or other things. In fact, one of their staff members was here on vacation. Spent a week here, and that was one of the I don't want to call it a selling point when we found out she was coming on the account, but she knew the area. So they are going through and doing that. On the German side, Axel, who's our primary, is probably over here at least 2 times a year, if not 3. And is very, very familiar. In fact, was just here not more than a couple of weeks ago. And then Rose, speaking of Axel and his team, since the chair is here, and this is the chair's last meeting with us for this year, care to elaborate on the wonderful event that we attended or we were part of in Germany?
Yes, Visit St. Pete Clearwater partnered with Visit Tampa for the Bucks game in Frankfurt. And so we worked with the NFL and we had an activation with clients at the Hofbrauhaus. So every afternoon, Commissioner Justice and Steve would join us and we met with clients and were able to talk with them about the destination. We had table tents throughout the venue, offering an opportunity for the German consumers that were there to win a trip to St. Pete Clearwater. We had huge response to that, where we actually have selected the winner for that giveaway, which is a stay part of the time in St. Pete and part of the time in Tampa. It's just a great opportunity to have St. Pete Clearwater and Visit Tampa part of that NFL experience. We entertained clients one evening when we were in Frankfurt. Axel was able to put together a key list of VIP customers for us to spend some time with, both on the sales side and on the media side. And then we, of course, hosted VIP clients at the game itself. Steve and Commissioner Justice were in the suite with some VIP clients, and Mika, who is also on Axel's team, and myself were on the lounge level with clients, and it was just a huge success. I would love to have some testimonials from that event for my next presentation, because it really was so unique and it really made such an impression on these very, very important clients. And Commissioner Justice and Steve, we did a lot of walking in Frankfurt, in Munich, and again, I think it was for the customers to see a commissioner join us at the events, as well as the CEO of Visit St. Pete Clearwater went a long way, in addition to having Axel and his team there in place as well.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind couple days of being over there and back, and what I walked away with was how familiar with some of these CEOs and these travel writers, how familiar they were with our destination. I had a long conversation with the CEO of Edelweiss, and he knew, he had been here quite frequently, and he knew every property, and he knew which ones were really good, and he knew which ones needed a refresh. He walked through every single, he had it down. But the travel writers, some of the different target audiences, that was what I walked away. They were really, they liked our destination, they were familiar with our destination, but they also knew the areas that we needed to work on. So that was some very valuable conversation. And the Bucks won, so that was a much nicer end to the trip than it could have been.
Absolutely.
And if we came back, we flew through Frankfurt, and I can guarantee you that Frankfurt security is the tightest security of getting on that plane that I've ever been in any airport in my life. So I felt very safe after that search. So, Steve?
I just want to echo one of the things. The event itself at the game was really good based on the people we had with us. And we talked about, the CEO from Edelweiss, who was also basically CEO for Eurowings Discover, so both of those airlines. He was so intent on watching that game. I mean, he was in his seat. He was like watching it, and then at halftime, he was like, "Okay, so now why'd they raise their hand and then they didn't catch the ball, or why'd they raise their hand and then catch the ball and not run?" And just some of the different idiosyncrasies related to football. The other part is that they had been to that stadium, but had never seen American football live. They'd always watched football, as in soccer. And then, the other thing was the dinner we had with 4 travel writers. And you had, and it was 3 publications. You had a lady whose name was the Countess, who knew Florida a lot. Interesting enough, knew a little of our area, but became extremely more interested as the conversation went on. One of the other publications had an online person and a printed writer, and the one that was the print, his background was actually like in biology and science, and his whole story idea went from a vacation of I'm at the beach to how do I incorporate the wild, the eco side of Florida, and what does that look like on the west coast of Florida? So to be able to tie that in, and then the other guy was young and deals with a totally different audience. So the conversation just flowed really good, and I really have to commend the chair. I mean, what a salesman. No, that's what you need is, you need folks out there, selling the place. And he did an absolutely fabulous job, and it was whirlwind. I mean, we literally arrived on Friday and came back on Monday. So there was no dilly-dallying around, and then, the whole atmosphere at the Hofbrauhaus, I've never experienced anything like that. And all I got to say is I don't know how they do Oktoberfest, how anybody survives that, but that we now have an idea. So,
Excuse me, Mr. CEO. I have the privilege at the end of saying a few words about our chairman, but I'd like to interrupt this because I think it was the best testimony we've had already about our chairman this last year and representing us in Europe and everything, and how he's such a salesman. And I even hear that he's a salesman as a foodie in Pinellas County on where he eats and everything under Facebook and those programs there. And I just, all over the county, and whether it's breakfast or lunch or a snack or whatever. So he's certainly a salesman, but I think also, I have a plaque here that I'd like to present, but before I do, you're a fantastic chairman. I think the way you conducted the meeting, the way everybody gets heard, consensus, not afraid to take it to the BCC in the right package to represent tourism and where we need to be. It's been a pleasure this year of having you as the chairman, and I think I just saw the former chairman over there nod his head on an agreement with me. But I saw that just in case you were wondering. So on behalf of all of us, I'd like to give you this plaque now instead of waiting till the end of the meeting.
Sure.
going off script.
Yeah, we're way off script now.
Yeah, well, we're ahead of schedule.
Oh, actually, what I need to do is get a picture.
Yeah. I want to stand over here.
Come over here.
Eddie,
We'll get a
can you-
picture. Oh, he's gonna do it. There you go. Yeah, let's go. There you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Kimball. I'll have some more words at the end of the meeting, but I really appreciate your kind comments. That means a lot to me. All right, let's get back on script.
All right. So the other day, Craig came in and said, hey, I want to run over a few things with you related to sports. And he came out with some of the numbers and the things that they've accomplished. And I was like, holy cow, that is like awesome news. And I said, I think let's get it on the agenda for the TDC. And I thought it's appropriate given that, sports is I think a big topic for the county as a whole. We just talked about the Bucks, but, we've got the Rays but I think the amateur sports and what it generates in our community and collegiate sports is huge. And so I wanted Craig to kind of give an update to this group of the accomplishments they've seen and what's happening.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Steve, for the opportunity, and Merry Christmas, by the way, to everyone here. Steve alluded to, it's been a tremendous year for the Sports and Events Department. I'll get into some of the details here shortly, but as we get kind of started, I wanted to kind of give some historical context. Historically, our department has generated between 120 and 140,000 room nights, kind of give or take, depending on the year. And then came fiscal year 19. So this established a really high benchmark. It was our high watermark year. From an events hosted standpoint, 95, almost hit that 100 threshold there, but over 140,000 room nights generated for fiscal year 19. Then, of course, we all know what happened in fiscal year 20 with COVID, the various impacts, the shutdowns, cancellations, and whatnot. So it's been a long and winding road to recovery, and happy to report some of our statistics for fiscal year 22, which just concluded end of September this year. So from an events hosted standpoint, 119, so an increase of 24 events there. We've cleared the 160,000 room night threshold there, increase of 20,000 from fiscal year 19. Increases across the board for bed tax, the funding provided in overnight attendees, and of course economic impact, increase of 31 million there. So just incredible numbers there. And a new metric that we are tracking moving forward, we've placed a greater emphasis on securing events that offer some national or regional media exposure. So working with our partners at BVK, I believe it was 6 events that generated like television broadcast on ESPN, CBS Sports, Bally Regional Network. So in total, 640,000 in media exposure, in addition to all the bed tax generated, $1.2 million. So just some high level, kind of high surface sort of statistics there. And as we get into the next slide here, and apologies if it might, there's a lot going on here. But this is a market segment breakdown. I thought we could kind of drill in a little bit deeper here on some of the different segments and events that we host in the destination. So the left column here is, of course, the market segment. So there's 21 different sports that we've serviced, in the last 4 years. The second column is the number of events we hosted in 2019 versus the remaining columns is 2020, 2022. And you can see there's really like a handful of things I want to call out here to your attention. Firstly, the top 3, softball, baseball, and aquatics. Those are the big 3. They've traditionally been the big 3, and they continue to be that way as far as room nights generated, economic impact, and incentives paid out there. You can see running and challenge is catching up, pun intended, and we're approaching that threshold with aquatics there, so we're excited to see the growth for running and challenge there at number 4. Number 5 here, surprisingly, basketball. We went from 1 event in 2019 to 10 events, so room nights in the hundreds to now over 8,000 room nights for basketball. Just a tremendous growth there for that segment. Ice sports, so hockey and ice skating kind of combined the 2 there, so we went from 2 total to now 6 and approaching about 7,000 room nights between those two segments, and volleyball. So huge increase here as well, one event to 8, and we're, approaching sort of that 6,000 room night threshold. So, that's if we're looking for how and why we are seeing increases across the board, that's a good example, and there's other increases as well. Do want to recognize some opportunities maybe that we could address moving forward. So baseball, that number actually went down from 16 to 8 as far as number of events goes. We retained the quality events, but we think there might be, so you'll see sort of the impact is still significant for baseball, but we think there's room for improvement there. Bowling, excuse me, if you look at the 2019 numbers, there was a major bowling convention we hosted in 2019, responsible for over 10,000 room nights. So we're trying to get back in the queue on that schedule. We're working hard on the bowling market segment as well. And then cycling, so the BMX track in Oldsmar, that went offline for a couple years there for repair. So that's now back online. We hosted our first event there back in October, and we have another one on the books coming up at the end of February. So cycling, that's back in the mix here, which is great news.
Before you leave that page, Mayor Walsh has a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greg, what is festival?
Sorry?
What is festival?
Festival is sort of, it's like a catch-all for, it could be everything else that's not like, that's the events side of sports and events department. So we've held, or we've partnered with festivals out at the St. Pete Pier, for instance, when we partner with them and have
It's got some sports tie-in.
sometimes, but not always.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
So it
clarifies.
could just be a festival.
Okay, thank you.
So any of the festivals downtown St. Pete that we are sponsoring or partnering, is that on this? So Localtopia, Pride, or?
No, those are elite events. That's
Elite
all separate.
Okay, all right.
So this is all, separate.
That's where I'm just trying to understand where the lines are.
So fishing, for example, the events, the big, I can't think of the
King of the
name
Beach?
it. King of the Beach.
Yes, elite events.
It's elite events.
So that's not captured here.
And I don't know if it's on the next slide, but and I know you're shaking your head. No, it's not on. All right. And I know this is a conversation we started last year, and we'll probably continue for another year at least. About you look at these events and you look at about where our area of opportunity is, and so for example, the bowling. Well, we'd have 10 more events if we had a world-class or larger bowling facility, or a cycling stadium, or a volleyball, any of those kind. So that's the next question is, where is the opportunity versus investment of facility to make those numbers jump?
Sure. So I'll point right to the field sports. So I kind of lump in soccer, rugby, football, and what's the other one? Lacrosse. So those 4 sports all take rectangle fields. We do not have a facility that has 10 plus rectangle fields to accommodate large tournaments. So we lose potentially that business down to IMG or in Orlando or somewhere in Tampa, Pasco. They have options that are, there's one central facility that has all these fields. Whereas here, we're forced to mix and match. Okay, 3 over here, 4 over there, 2 over here. Becomes logistically a nightmare for the organizer, and they just say, hard pass.
Mayor Welch?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I almost feel compelled to ask about pickleball. Yeah, I know this is being televised, so potential. I mean, you can't go
For sure.
without hearing about it.
Yeah, big potential in pickleball. And kind of a caveat to the list you see there, some of these are, some of the segments are kind of more loaded than others, like water sports. That's actually 4 different segments combined. There's fishing and paddleboarding and boat racing, things like that. So yeah, pickleball kind of falls into the tennis kind of realm. So we've kind of lumped it in there, but we definitely see an opportunity there for sure. And then there's talk of facilities in Largo potentially as well. And if we could take advantage of that.
Beyond just recreational, there's a,
Oh, yeah, there's organizers, there's facilities that host large-scale events, for sure.
okay. And final question, Mr. Chair. What happened in basketball to go from 1 to 10, and where did they actually play?
They're Eckerd College, so some collegiate basketball events down in Eckerd, and just growing a program in Clearwater as well. So, utilizing a number of their indoor courts there. Thankfully, they, organizers can, with relative ease, get between some of the gymnasiums in Clearwater. So, and honestly, credit to Julie Bolfa, and I'm going to recognize the team here shortly. She's working that market segment. She's the one who's kind of gotten that number from 1 to 10. So just working hard and being matchmaker, I should say.
Great job. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree on the pickleball thing. We have some real avid pickleball folks just in our city, but they're involved a little bit at the higher level in the competition. And I know that we are currently in the process of building, I think, 6 courts in an area, but I think it would be really important. I know we've talked over time about having a multi-sports facility, if you will, in our county, right? And to attract this kind of thing. And I think for municipalities, as they create their capital plans and these new sports pop up, or even old sports and folks are trying to add fields, we're always looking for fields for soccer because it's such a big thing in our city. I think it's important for municipalities to know what our goals are. For instance, if at some point we were going to create and I know we wouldn't know this on pickleball at this point, but if we were going to create soccer fields or pickleball fields, well, then I think it would make a difference to cities' capital programs to maybe not try to duplicate all the services. Or if we were looking at, Clearwater or Dunedin or St. Pete is doing some pickleball courts, hey, if you build 3 extra courts, we'll help you fund it because we would like to do tournaments there. That partnership that we're doing things efficiently and not having, 5,000 facilities for the same thing, I think is really important. I don't know how we get there, but I think that's really important, and especially going in, where we are today in our economy and all of that. Thank you.
Nope, excellent points. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with the comments on pickleball. We're currently in the permitting phase with the county to build 4 courts at Innisbrook, and this will be the first of what will eventually be 12 courts, specifically to go after these type of tournaments, as well as our members, but we want to drive room nights, and we think that this can help.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Mr. Prather.
Craig, good morning, and thank you. Great stats. To go from 95 events in 19, forget COVID, into 119, to go from 142,000 bed nights to 162. You're talking about a 25% increase in events and 15 in room nights. So thank you. That's a lot of work. Where does your money? We spent $841,000 plus to get there. Where do you pull that out of in the budget?
We have a line item for incentives and bid fees, and it's actually, I want to say 700,000 is the budget, but kind of a caveat here, and we can kind of get in the weeds. A chunk, 150,000 actually comes out of BVK's budget because it's the elite softball event in Clearwater, and that's a marketing deal, but a deal that we put together. So we're inputting all of that information in here, but truly, if you deduct 150,000 out of there, we're just under that 700 threshold.
And then that would lead me to Steve. Are you happy with 2023 coming up budget? Do we need to put more into sports? How do you feel?
Well, as we start the budget process, which will actually kick off next month, that's something that we'll look at. Again, I think in each of the different areas, if we have incentives to go get business. Is it sufficient to what we have? Is it working? And do we, what's the ROI back on that? So that if we need more, we have the data to back it up and the ability to tell the story around it.
Thank you. There's always opportunities for budget amendments if deemed advisory by this board and approved by the commission. Further questions on this? And just to belabor pickleball, it is a cult-like following by folks who really get into it. I have a relative who I won't mention her name, moved to a small town in Georgia, and I think it was part of the welcome wagon was a pickleball paddle, and now they travel all over the Southeast in tournaments and winning gold medals and all these things, but have traveled all over the Southeast. And there's a place, I want to say Delray Beach, is that right? On the East Coast. There's a place over there that have really big tournaments, and so it is another opportunity for us. Anything else for? Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to ask why the loss in baseball, and do we see a difference for 2023?
There was an organizer who ran a number of tournaments here, and he just decided to leave the destination, whether got a better kind of offer in a different location or just the events went away. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that was the result in the decrease. But again, now it's opened sort of a window of opportunity here. Now we can plug something else in there. So that's what we're getting after this year.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hayes.
If I might add, Mr. Chair, and when the one event one thing he brought up was the basketball. Last year at Thanksgiving, we had, what was the name of the event? Jersey Mike's basketball tournament, which you had NCAA tournament, college team, Division I college teams playing here. And to me, the interesting part is, went down to visit it, and turns out that it's being broadcast on CBS, on the streaming. And it's like, whoa, wait a second. So that goes back to the media exposure to have something. And then you had these Division I teams that were playing here, of which they were all from outside the state, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the things I think, when you look at it, it's like, wow, wait a minute, how do I get something like that? In fact, there was also a women's tournament that same week around that same time period. So I think those are things that you look at and say, how do we grow? How do we go through and grow that? So. But congratulations to Craig and the sports team, and I know you wanted to go through and introduce them.
Yeah, the team is in the house today, so I definitely wanted to acknowledge and bring them up here, if you don't mind, and just say a few words. It's a great team. Love working with them. So Caleb Peterson, he's our kind of oldest tenured team member here. He joined us May 2018. We actually just promoted him to the Senior Business Development Manager role in July of this past year. So he takes the lead on all things sales. He touches all the different segments we just looked at. He interfaces with all of our local partners and venues. And one new focus he's going to be looking into this year is the international space. So obviously, any international events kind of went away in these past couple of years. All right, we're trying to get back into that space. So Caleb Peterson's over here. And Julie Bolfa, so she joined us March 2020, and right in the thick of all the shutdowns. And she's just been a true professional since day one. I don't think I met her physically in person until the 6th or 7th month into her job with all the shutdowns and whatnot, but don't trust her sort of sweet demeanor over there. She's relentless from a sales standpoint. As you can tell, she owns the basketball and the volleyball segments there, responsible 100% for those, for that growth there. So great job, you two. And then new to the team, Andrea Perla. She joined us just a month and a half ago from the Kissimmee Sports Commission. Thrilled to have her on board. She's already been plugged into some of our trade shows in the past couple weeks, so we're getting her dialed into her various market segments. Just thrilled, about what she brings to the table. So welcome aboard, Andrea. And then Mariah Kaler, she joined us back in January of this year, and she's back at this corner, and she's our business manager. Interfaces with every event, every organizer we work with, A to Z services kind of listed there. It's a whole gamut of things. So from pre-event commitments and agreements to servicing various needs, all the way through post-event invoicing. So provides just world-class service to all of our clients, which is fantastic. So just thank you to the team, kudos to them, and thank you guys for your time.
Great to see you all this morning, and welcome to the new folks, and thanks for those that have been here doing the work. We appreciate you. All right, Steve?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll wait for my presentation to pop up. We'll hit into the destination, and thank you, Craig. Destination metrics. And again, as we start, as we go through our meetings, I want to do more of the staff department updates of what they're doing, because there is so many good things that are accomplishing. Like I said, when Craig, came in and said, "Here's what we did," I was just like, "Yes, let's raise the flag, ring the bell," because it's tremendous. And sports is one of those markets that was not impacted as much by the pandemic. And especially your outdoor sports. So again, I think we have so much potential within our community as a whole. All right. On destination metrics, and again, I know there was in the packets that I handed out, there was a lot of information that was in there. I did go through and provided hotel data and bed tax data for September as well as October, because we did not have a meeting last month. So you really got the year end of last year, and then the starting the first month of this fiscal year. But under the destination metrics, so here we go for tourist development tax. On this, you can see in September, our collections were at $5 million. And it was a 13% increase over the 2021 number. We finished the fiscal year at $95 million, which was up 30% over fiscal year 21. And you can again see by the months where the money came in, blue being 2022, orange being 2021. We go to October. So October's all the way over to the left, and it's in gray. On that, it was we were at 6.5 million, and that was up 11.6% over 2021. So October of last year over 2021 was way up, and again we're up in this October. So again, off to a good start from the fiscal year standpoint. I did want to share this, and again, in your packets, by not only the September data, but also the October data I have by municipality where the tax is collected. This one I did for September, so it shows at the end of the year, the fiscal year, what the numbers were by each of the municipalities. And you can see and again, you can pick the city out there. Again, let me remind you that miscellaneous other means that they're not in a strict municipality, but they could be in multiple places, and that typically goes back to your VRBO, Airbnb, vacation rentals, things along that line. When we look at lodging as a whole, hotel occupancy this is for October. Looking at 2022, we were at 71 compared to 63%. In 21, that was up 9%. On the vacation rental occupancy, it was at 63%, which was flat to 21. Under average daily rate under hotel, we were at 168, which was up 6%. But vacation rentals was at 165, but they were up 12% over 2021. And then when we look at beach and inland, and again, I always make the clarification, beach properties, anything that's west of the intercoastal, anything east of the intercoastal then becomes inland. You can see what the occupancy was for October 22 versus 21, so we were flat. Inland, it was a 17% increase, and you probably would be asking yourself why that larger increase. If you'll remember, at the very end of September is we got into Hurricane Ian. And so then that first part of October, you would have had leftover folks that either had evacuated, crews that were in town, et cetera, that would have been in the inland properties. If you look at the ADR for beach, it was up 3% over 21 for October, and then inland, it was up 16%. Again, looking at the demand during that time period. Graphically, this just kind of shows what I was telling you. This look at 2019, 2021, and 22. I think it'll be safe to say that I can take 2019 off of the charts now, because now 21 is that rebound year. So there were some rebounds that we normally don't see that I think will fluctuate out. So 22 becomes that normal, what I call a normal year, and then so 23 will be measuring against that. But this is this goes right now through November. And this is ADR, and it goes through November as well. And essentially, you can see the flattening out of ADR, and where occupancy was still above the numbers for 21, as well as in 2019. And I think that, again, goes back, if you look at the TDT collections, is the fact is when you have such larger increases in occupancy and ADR, that room revenue is up, which means the tax being generated off that is up. So that's why it's important to pay attention, not only the occupancy, if that stays flat, but we still can see strong growth in ADR, that should have a positive impact on TDT. Conversely, if occupancy is up and ADR is flat, it still would have a positive effect on TDT. I will tell you, Jim Abernathy from OMB had reached out to me and wanted my crystal ball prediction for TDT for the next year. And I pulled out my magic 8 ball, which has already been broken 3 times. But it's one that we've got to watch, because we're not sure. I mean, again, I'd love to hear from those that in the lodging industry, of how sustainable the rates that we're seeing, because they continue to stay strong, even though occupancy may be more flat at certain times. But to me, it's got to plateau at some point, and then you can kind of move from there. So definitely be reaching out to get opinions before I give my prediction over to Jim. Next slide, and again, thanks to Doreen on the vacation rental and some of the key KPIs to look at. This is for the month of October. Again, we look at paid occupancy, ADR, RevPAR, and then length of stay. And the first 3 we look at the hotel side, but at the vacation rental, we'll also look at length of stay. So you can see really paid occupancy being flat in October, ADR up, RevPAR up, and then length of stay up. And this is, again, for business in the month of October. We also do a forward look, and so in this case, this is 90 days, so for the months of December, January, and February. And this is for business booked as of 12/20/22. And you can see right now, again, occupancy being flat, ADR being up 15, RevPAR being up 15, and then length of stay. So to me, that's a good sign as we head into winter season on the vacation rental side that it's positive, because again, that's looking forward. So we can look for those numbers to increase over the coming months. I also did want to say, and again, thanks to Doreen and her observation, we're now we've got an additional data set coming in to Key Data. And again, we're trying to grow the sample size, and Doreen was able to come on board working with Key Data, and now we're starting to get some others to come on board as well. So hopefully that, if it becomes more robust. And then the other thing I wanted to mention related to STR is we're waiting on some final information from STR, but there will be a new way that I'll be able to report that information. And what's going to be interesting about it is I can go through and look at, and this will all be done online, but then I can run reports to it to look at, us versus pick a market. Is it Orlando? Is it Sarasota? Maybe it's New York. And how are we doing specific to that in the metrics that STR goes through and measures? So I think today's world and how things are changing, the more data we can get that's more timely certainly is helpful.
Steve, while you're there
Yes.
and speaking on the subject of the vacation rentals, did Key Data and VSPC send out to our vacation rental market here in our area promoting some sort of the promotion that because I didn't see it, but then I was already working directly with Key Data with your input. So did we send that out to all the other properties, managers, et cetera?
Actually, we will have something go out after the holidays because we're actually putting together I'm gonna call it a webinar to kind of bring people in and show them what can happen with it. Because again, if you're not familiar with it, you may be thinking, okay, it's something I don't need. Let's show them how it can be done. And then basically what we've done is we've gone through and said, we'll, whatever the cost is based on your number of units that you have, that cost it'll be reduced by 15%, and we'll make up that difference. Because again, the more people I can get involved in this, then the more robust the data is, which is imperative. So that's where that's going. The other under the destination metrics, and I don't have a slide for it, but you did have the information, and Doreen kind of talked about it a little bit. For January we're going to have destination analysts here to go through and talk about not only the fiscal year end numbers, but also the latest quarterly report. They do such a fabulous job in running through everything. I think it's important. I just wanted to get the information to you, Doreen, on your question regarding the data in there related to Golf to Bay magazine. And that'll be a question for DA, because as a consumer, we may call it the Golf to Bay magazine, but they may think it's a travel guide. And so if you went up several categories, there were responses. There were responses there. So that's what we got to figure out is how do they go through and see that. I think what Katie brought up and actually going out to people that are reading it and directly communicating with them is a better story of the information that's there. All right. All right. Next up I have is, any questions on destination metrics before I close that out? Okay.
The mayor has one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor.
I'm sorry, I don't know if this is the appropriate place, but when I look at the sheets you give us,
Yes.
is that ending now? Is this the time if I have a question on here? I'll just ask it, you can tell me. You know, each month and on our monthly report where it talks about like our tax and, you know, where the tax is lying, you will break it down amongst the, I guess, the larger cities or better performing cities, that type of thing. And I thought I remembered us talking about this once before. Is there a way, so like if you look at the last page of the report or second to the last, it's the tourist development tax monthly municipality comparison.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. I always love looking at that, but I think what would be really helpful at some point in the future, if it's not too much trouble, it would be really helpful to look at what is the position of hotel rooms that exist in those locations. So that you're understanding, you're not just looking at the money collected by each municipality kind of against each other and to the total, but you're looking at what, you know, sometimes it's a fait accompli. If they have 10% of the rooms, but they're doing 12% of the tax income, that tells you something. If they have 10% of the rooms and they're only doing 5%, well, that also tells you something. And I think it would be for other people looking at this, and not that this is your job per se, but other people looking at this, that tells you, okay, is there a destination that's really, they're 10% of the room, but they're doing 15% of the business? Well, that says that that municipality or area should be going out and trying to get more hotel rooms. It gives you some other insight is what I'm trying to say. So I think it would be helpful if you're able to try to set that report up that way or do another one or something.
Yep.
Thank you.
Chair. On that, though, I mean, you know, I was looking, first of all, it amazes me how the fall used to really be a dead time. And it's not anymore. We're year-round. But I'm also seeing the fact that, you know, we're going to have the JW Marriott coming online. There's nothing in the county that's going to get nightly rates like they do. It's just a different magnitude. And, you know, the Opal Sands is already broken ground on their second tower. That's of similar caliber. There's a new Embassy Suites that's going to be breaking ground in the next couple months. So, I mean, I think it is important that we keep an eye on, you know, how those revenues are going to grow and how much utilization. But you asked the ADR question. I'm not in the lodging segment, but I talked to all of our hoteliers, and I mean, I see our ADR staying awfully solid, and if not increasing, simply because of the product that is coming online. So, just a comment.
Ms. Moore?
Comment on the comment. The traveler segment has the affluent traveler and broken into the report this month, and I was a little surprised that Clearwater Beach didn't track higher. But the adding of what you're, you know, representing in terms of, you know, type of accommodations and dollars involved would be shown in that as well in the future. So it's another segment that would represent what you're pointing out.
Well, when Beach Walk was completed and we did our initial density pool of 600 rooms, which were split between the Wyndham Grand, the Sam Pearl, and the Hyatt, there was concern that we were, first of all, Mr. Kimball could talk about this better than anybody, but nobody ever thought that we would get the room rates that we started getting after those three properties were opened. But then we did a second density pool for mid-priced hotels because we didn't want to become unfamily friendly. But now what's being built outside of that density pool all seem to be high-end. And right now we're starting also the refurbishment of Beach Walk because, we're coming up on 18 years, and it's time to put some additional money in that. And that's really one of the linchpins of what changed Clearwater Beach, if you go back to '04 when we started construction.
I guess to add to the ad on it, what's amazing is that we didn't miss occupancy. That's the part that there's enough business out there to add to it with the brands and everything also, that all of our occupancies, if anything, went up on it. And a good example is the Marriott product. When we started out, we had Sheraton for all those years, and it became Starwood. The next one north was Fort Walton. The next one south was Key West. And we're now part of the Marriott brand. And when the JW opens, there'll be 8 of us on the beach, different levels and so forth on it. And we didn't miss occupancy. That's the part that really amazes today. We've been able to absorb all of that with the demand. And so I think that's one of the things to say. We need to be watching that as the county develops and the rest of the hotels come on for budgeting and everything else for '23, Steve, and all too, to say, are we in the right amount? We see what our budget is, what we collected this year, and are we in the right numbers for next year, or is there new markets or new things we should be doing? We may need to review a little bit more, but it blows me away. The occupancy stays constant.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to echo some of the comments that both Mayor Hibbard and Mr. Kimball have made, our analysis for 2023 reflects both growth in occupancy and rate. Our rate, we forecasted to be up 10% over this year, and this is the highest we've ever been in 2022. We still see demand growing, and that's without the benefit of a robust convention, conference, company meetings segment. That probably won't return to pre-pandemic levels until sometime in '24. But even absent that market segment, we're very, very optimistic on '23. So I think you can be bullish in your average rate bet with Jim.
There was a comment in there, and it went in one ear, out the other ear. Oh, Mayor Hibbard, thank you for reminding me on the new developments, because I think when you look at the county as a overall, what's new and coming on board, whether it is in Clearwater Beach, whether it's over in the mid beaches, St. Pete Beach, St. Pete itself, and the number of properties that are coming on board, it's huge. And then that doesn't count what's not only in '23, but maybe in '24. So I think all of that as a whole, you hear it all the time, rising tide lifts all ships. And that's usually the case when you get a certain type of property in, all of a sudden other properties, wait a minute, that rate went up, I can match rate, I can do this. And now when you start developing things, then all of a sudden, other things happen. And I think that's what we're going through and see. And Mr. Kimball, to kind of tag upon, your comment, I agree. I think the story we need to tell is, yeah, we're year round, but that we have pockets of where we can fill business. So let's fill that business. But the other part is, you've heard from us that we've talked about where we're advertising in the Midwest, the last couple of years. Doesn't mean we've forsaken the Northeast, but now, wait a minute, maybe now's the opportunity. You've got strong advertising in the Northeast and the Midwest, and doing both at the same time. Well, that's going to be additional resources, but let's show the story of how and why that's going to be important. And then I think the other part is, how do we move business so that it's not all on a weekend in March? Let's get it in other time periods so that, again, it's spread out through the county, but also the time of the year and also the time of the week. And again, I think those are all important things as we start planning the budget for next year. So speaking of budget for next year, let's go to TDC meetings. Actually, joint BCC TDC meeting reschedule. Kevin Knutson is currently in the process of trying to get that rescheduled with the BCC. We had to change it because of, was it Nicole? Yeah, Nicole.
Ian. Hurricane Ian.
Oh, was it Ian? Okay. Yeah, I knew it was one of those storms. So we're rescheduling that meeting, and part of that meeting is not only to talk about capital program, but the other part is a presentation from sports facilities companies who's looking at sport facilities overall and really the report from them. So getting that scheduled and getting that on the agenda, and as soon as we can do that, we will get that out to everybody. In regards to our meetings for the TDC for 2023, you have in your packet, am I correct, Liz? There's a draft schedule. If you would go ahead and put those on your calendar, we are confirming them with next year's chair, which will be Commissioner Janet Long. And just a couple of key things related to those meetings. In March, just as an FYI, in the past, some folks of this group have gone up to Tallahassee for Tourism Day, and TDC will not conflict with that, the way the schedule goes. So if you're used to going up for Tourism Day, Tallahassee, we will not have a meeting at that time, so we're free to go to attend that. I'm waiting on the budget schedule, which will come out in January. But if that is the case, it looks like the presentation to you for our budget for fiscal year 24 would be at the April meeting. And then the June meeting is the unknown at this point because that is when the county has its budget information session. So they're usually several days in a row. So we'll get with the chair to confirm whether we, don't have a meeting or we have a meeting early. But just when the budget process, once they get going, it's tough to pull the chair into the TDC meeting. So questions on the joint meeting and/or the schedule for next year?
Steve, did I miss when we're generally anticipating that joint meeting?
Kevin said he was going to try to get something in February, but again, there's so many different schedules they've got to manage with that.
Kevin, do I see you nodding your head for February? February.
Wasn't sure if Kevin was there. So.
Kevin's always here.
All right. Next item is VSPC staffing update, and just want to go over a couple of things. I chatted with staff the other day at our holiday party. And if you look at the positions that we currently have open, here's the update. We have 4 positions that we have filled since November. We had sports, which you got to meet Andrea. On the meetings and convention side, we had an open position. We have actually made an internal promotion. And Kayla on our staff, who was our business assistant in the meetings and conference area, will move into that and will be taking over the Florida market. And then Brian, who had Florida, will be taking over the West markets. And then in the Latin American market, we had an opening. We had an internal promotion on that one. And would you all please congratulate Liz, who has accepted that position. And so that was working for Latin America business development. So she came to me, and as much as I wanted to say no, that's not right, and I thought it would be a great fit. So then we had an opening, and that opening has already been filled, and we were very, very fortunate that as that opening became available, we had an individual that was rotating off of being an aide to one of our county commissioners. So Stacy O'Donnell has joined our team. So you will see the transition of Liz's name will no longer be on communication, but you'll see Stacy's information. Super excited to have her on board, and she's worked with a number of the commissioners when she was, and again, a couple of different phases, but excited. She's learning our part of the business. As I told her, I said, I'll quit using all the acronyms for a little while and kind of spell them out for you. But she's learning fast, so super excited from that. On the Film Commission position, with Tony leaving, we are actually finishing up the last interview today of the 3 finalists, and look to have an offer being made next week or the week after that. I have 2 positions that are in the advertising mode. One is in community brand engagement. We had an opening there, so looking at getting that filled, and then the other one would be for community relations. So we'll get that one going. And then I've got 4 that finalizing up the details. One, because of Kayla moving up in M&C, we have a business assistant position open, so we'll start there. And then to help out on the marketing side and generation of content, a position there. And then data analyst. And then finally, I think Mackenzie left the organization, and we were actually very fortunate that we were able to retain her services through the PR company she now works with. So that gave us some time to really develop that position and go out for a director of communications. So Mayor, I see you had a couple of people that you just hired, so must be some good folks that are out there.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, we had a meeting with Workforce Relations, and really to set the stage for the two senior positions, Chief Marketing Officer and VP of Sales. So that's where we're at. We've got certainly irons already well in the fire, a couple of them ready to pull out and call that goose cooked. So excited, from that perspective. And again, if I might add from a staffing standpoint, the staff's done a tremendous job, filling in a variety of different areas. I can't be more proud of them and what they do. And again, you saw that with the folks from who you heard from today. Not only the advertising, both digital and non-traditional, but in sports. Rose and her team, our Latin American team, M&C team, everybody I think is doing a fabulous job, and I'm super excited with them. So, Mr. Chair, unless there are questions, that would be my report.
Thank you very much. I got lost in the metaphors of cooking a goose and irons in the fire or something in there, but your goose is cooked. It used to mean something different, but thank you very much for that update. I know that we've had a lot of turnover this year, and we've had those vacancies, so I'm excited to see those get filled, and excited to have the new blood going through the organization, and a lot of work to do, so we appreciate that. Next on our agenda, we want to recognize one of our members who is leaving us. It's very complimentary to me that when this member learned I was leaving the TDC at the end of my year, he could no longer see himself serving on the board, so he resigned his position and is appointing someone else to be.
Wow.
No, we want to thank Mayor Welch, who's chaired this board many times over the years and has served admirably since he's been the mayor of St. Petersburg. Does an incredible job advocating not only for his community in St. Petersburg and those interests, but also for the industry of tourism as a whole. In the last couple of years, really that extra interest in the arts issue and how important that is to Pinellas County. But for your service on the TDC and all you do, we want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Chairman.
we want to present you with this token of our appreciation.
All righty.
Eddie, can you grab a picture?
Is it an iPhone? Okay. He's an Android guy, so. You got 2 of them? Oh, man. May I say a few words,
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman? Thank you. Well, this has been my fourth time around on the TDC, and always am impressed by the leadership on the board. Thank you for all that you do for the destination. And the staff, I mean, they do an outstanding job. Congrats, Liz. Welcome back, Stacy. And my replacement will be Copley Gertis. Many of you work with his father, Charlie Gertis. Great council member. He'll bring a lot to the table. And you're right, I can't bear the thought of not being in a meeting where Charlie Justice isn't the chair, but I have worked with a lot of public officials, and he's among the best that I've worked with. Despite being a Bogosiega pirate, he seemed to overcome that. But the work we do here is important. I can't speak enough about this destination and our way of working together with 24 cities in the county and the business community. It's something special. And I always have to give regards to who I call lovingly the Godfather, and that's Russ Kimball. Russ has been here since the start. He's helped to guide many versions of the TDC through some very difficult challenges, and Russ, I always want to thank you for what you've done for our community. So it's been a pleasure. I will be back because, as we've said, we've got some pretty big projects coming up, and in compliance with Sunshine, I can't talk to you if I'm on the board. So that's one reason I want to be able to fully shepherd that project for the city of St. Pete. So I look forward to our future conversations, and thank you for your leadership this year, Mr. Chairman. Excellent job.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Before we wrap up, are there any other board member comments? Ms. Moore?
I just seem to be full of comments today, so thanks for the opportunity. I wanted to personally thank the staff and all of VSPC. I know it's been a hard year with vacancies and more increased activity, so you've had like a double whammy. So appreciate all that everyone has done, and it is exciting news to see that these positions are getting filled. Wanted to kind of piggyback on something you brought up, Mayor, about the renovations of the beach walk, and putting on my historical hat, rolling back to the year 2000, the county had the push for the beautification of Gulf Boulevard and the use of the Penny for Pinellas money, and there was all kinds of, what would you call them, studies done in that point in time that pointed out what Pinellas County needed to do and kind of gearing it more to the beaches of stepping up the pace and taking a look at what could we do to beautify our area, get Gulf Boulevard kind of out of its tiredness. So that's been a long and arduous road, I think. But just a reminder, I think, to all of our communities, and we see, improvements, we see growth, we see things that are being done, but it's never done. So I think it's really important, and thank you for bringing that up because it just kind of triggered that thought. And then lastly, the Goodyear blimp is floating around in Pinellas County. I've seen it on the beaches, kind of going east and west across the county, and just wondering how that ties in. I didn't think of it when we had, Katie and the digital people, and do we get any use of that? I mean, why is it up there other than just to advertise Goodyear, obviously, but are they filming anything? Are they producing it? Is it are shots of our area from the blimp being utilized that maybe?
I think they were here for the match.
Okay.
Originally.
And then they were at the Bucks game on Sunday.
Okay.
I saw on the Goodyear Blimp Twitter site, I saw footage from Ray J coming up over downtown that was really, really well done. But I haven't checked back to see what other footage they added. But I don't know if we have access to that or can get access to that, but they probably have some nice footage.
Just a thought. It was beautiful weather.
Absolutely. Anyone else for the good of the order?
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Mayor Hibbard.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I just want to thank staff as well, and, got through a great year, and the budget looks dynamite, looking at all that. I did send an invitation out to all of you and the BOCC. We're going to have a topping off party of the amphitheater on January 6th at 11:30. We're going to be serving lunch after that. I took a tour of the park this week. It's really starting to come along, and you're starting to see how things are going to interact. It will be even further along by then, so we'd love to have you come out for that, because it is going to be a spectacular new addition, not only for our residents, but also for tourists.
Very good. All right, before we end, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With your pending cycling off and with Mayor Welch's departure, would it be appropriate for us to get a group picture with you all, with the TDC?
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll do that right over here on the side right after we're done. Thank you. That's a good idea. All right, let me I don't want to reiterate everything, but I do want to pay my compliments to the staff of our CVB. All the work they do year-round, and the promotions that we had are well-earned, and also that you see the faces of our team in our reports and our meetings, but all the behind-the-scenes staff, now Stacy and Liz and Terry, that make sure that the organization runs. So grateful for your work to make it the success that it is. And I want to thank all the members of this board. This is my second time serving as chair, and a lot of different faces than the first time I was here. I still see Phil and Tony in the corners there with their voices ringing in my head. But your commitment to this industry is admirable, and I'm grateful for it. The expertise you bring is important to help us make the policy decisions and the budgetary decisions that we make. This is incredibly important work that we do to serve this industry and to serve the nearly 100,000 folks that count on it for their employment and their livelihood. So let me say thank you. It is an honor and privilege to be able to represent you all when I go out on behalf of the TDC, and it's something I don't take lightly. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity. Merry Christmas, everyone. We are adjourned.